I'm a 32-year-old nurse, married to Daniel, who's 34 and works as an accountant. After 7 years of apartment living and saving every spare dollar, we finally bought our first home, a small 2-story place just outside the city. It wasn't fancy, but it was ours. We spent the first night surrounded by half-open boxes and takeout containers, laughing about how we didn't even own a proper dining table yet. For the first time, it felt like we could make decisions without anyone's opinion hanging over us. That feeling lasted about 48 hours. Before we'd even unpack the dishes, Daniel's mother called. Patricia is 62, sharp-tongued, and proud of the fact that her traditional values made Daniel who he is. She didn't ask if she could come see the new place. She announced that she'd stop by to inspect it and give some seasoned advice. Daniel hesitated, but saying no to her always meant days of guilt-ridden silence, so he agreed. The next morning, Patricia arrived carrying a notepad and a critical stare. She walked through the living room like an appraiser, tapping her finger on the mantel and muttering about modern clutter. The curtains were too dark, the sofa oddly placed, and apparently our color palette lacked warmth. She adjusted picture frames, opened cabinets, and even reorganized our spice rack mid-conversation, calling it helping us build good habits early. That night we made dinner, something simple, and she used it as an opportunity for a lecture. While Daniel and I ate, she listed the rules she'd lived by when raising him. No shoes inside, chores before television, and dinner exactly at 6 every evening. She said structure was what made a home civilized. Daniel smiled weakly and focused on his plate. I noticed how he barely spoke when she was around, as if years of practice had taught him that silence kept the peace. Her visits became routine after that. She'd drop by every few days with excuses, to fold laundry, to wipe a counter, or to check if we needed help arranging our pantry. She'd open the refrigerator, frown at my choice of yogurt, and comment that I must be busy if I didn't have time to keep things organized. It reached a point where I couldn't leave a drawer closed without wondering if she'd open it the next day. One afternoon, I came home to find her rearranging our kitchen shelves again. I told her gently that I preferred things a certain way and asked her to stop. She looked at me as if I'd just spoken another language. When Daniel got home, he tried to calm things down, saying she just means well, which somehow made it worse. That night, instead of arguing, I printed a small sign and hung it by the front door. It read, "House rules, call before visiting, respect our space, no rearranging items." The next time Patricia came over, she spotted it instantly. Her face went red. She accused me of humiliating her in her son's own home, and stormed out, muttering that I was treating her like a child. A few days later, at a family dinner, she made a pointed comment about younger women not understanding respect for their elders, while staring straight at me. On the drive home, Daniel finally admitted he was tired of the constant tension, but asked me not to make him choose sides. I didn't answer. I just looked out the window, already forming an idea. If Patricia believed her rules made a home civilized, maybe it was time she experienced what living by them actually felt like. 2 weeks after that dinner, Patricia called out of nowhere. She said her house's plumbing had burst and that she'd need to stay for a week. Her tone wasn't a request. It was the kind that expected an immediate yes. Daniel didn't even pause before agreeing. "She's family," he said, already checking which room she could use. I didn't argue. If anything, it felt like the perfect setup for what I'd quietly planned since that night in the car. Patricia arrived the next morning with 2 large suitcases, a toolbox, a stack of cleaning gloves, and her own pantry labels.